Now I can see better. Once upon a very, very long time ago, in the dark and fearful times before the universal enlightenment, there existed on the tiny planet called Earth a very violent, hateful, greedy, destructive, savage, superstitious, and not very intelligent life form called the human being. It seems that ever since these human beings had evolved from their ancestral primates, as opposed to the completely absurd notion that they had been created by some super-duper, almighty, spiritually superior, sacredly sadistic, supremely supernatural creator, they had been trying to destroy each other. In fact, their entire existence had centered around conflict and misery and pain and suffering and punishment and persecution and racism and genocide and torment and torture and war and death. And all of this was due to their, unfortunately, completely blind belief in that creator guy they called God. It seems that long ago, these human beings had actually worshipped this mythical maker of mankind, building churches and temples and mosques and all kinds of shrines in order to honor and appease him. But the human beings, alas, could not decide on the true identity of this magical mover and shaker, this monumentally powerful decision maker, this chooser of favorites and destroyer of innocence, so they murdered each other. In his name, of course. For century after bloody century after bloody century. But then one day, completely out of the blue, I think it was a Sunday, or it could have been Saturday, depending on what you believe, the sun suddenly went totally dark. And then the power went out all across the entire world. And all the human beings sat there in the darkness. Some of us were scared. Some of us lit candles. And some of us just went to bed. But some of us said, "What the fuck?" And then an ominous voice filled the dark and frightened world. And this is what it said. "My name is Lucifer, and I am the light bearer. And I will not turn the sun back on until all of you humans stop believing in this evil nonsense called God. This day marks the end of the lie that has divided and destroyed you for centuries. This day marks the end of the hatred and conflict that has forever conquered you. And this day marks the end of slavery and war and the beginning of freedom and peace, if you really want it. The choice is yours. I await your response." And then all the human beings thought about it for a minute. And even though a few radical, fanatical idiots who were afraid of losing their fictitious powers said, "No way," the overwhelming response from the human beings all over the world was, "Hell yes!" And with that, Lucifer, the light bearer, turned the sun back on, and the age known as the Universal Enlightenment began. And to this day, the human beings who all lived and died in darkness and damnation for so long have remained at peace, unafraid, and happy. For now they all finally know what it really means to say, whereas once I was blind, now I can see better.